idioms again. The first idiom is at sixes and sevens. At sixes and seven means in disorder. In disorder. For an example, there was a robbery in our neighborhood last night, and when I entered the house to inquire, everything was at six and sevens. That means everything was in disorder. Next idiom is to hope against hope. To hope against hope means to hope in spite of disappointment. Though you are disappointed, yes, you hope. That is to hope against hope. For example, Sohan's case is very weak and everybody knows that finally he will lose. Still, so if you hope, but he is still hoping against the hope. Next is to have an axe to grind. That means to have a selfish interest. For example, Rima is very selfish, but the way she is being polite with everyone gives the impression that she has an axe to grind. That means to have a selfish interest. Next idiom is to have a gift of a gab. To have a gift of the gab. Here it means the art of speaking. For an example, Meena is not highly qualified, but she has got the gift of the gab. Then is to throw out of gear. To throw out of gear means not working properly. For an example, many of our small scale industries have been thrown out of gear because of lack of finance. To take to heels. To take to heels means to run away. For an example, the students making mischief took to their heel on seeing the principal. Next is the bad blood. Bad blood means the bitter relationship. For example, the riot have created bad blood between the two communities in India. Black and blue. To beat mercilessly. The thief was beaten black and blue by the police. Black and blue means to be beaten mercilessly. Next is at one's wit's end. At one's wit's end means to be perplexed. That means to be confused. For an example, Sohan was at his wit's end to find that his younger brother has taken poison. At one's fingertips. At one's fingertips means the complete knowledge. For example, all the rules of synthesis are at his fingertips. That means he has a complete knowledge of things. To beat about the bush. To beat about the bush means to evade the issue. Or, in easy language, if I say to beat about the bush means to talk in a roundabout manner. For an example, we should always come to the point and should not beat about the bush. Next is beat the air. Beat the air. Beat the air means to make a useless effort. For an example, some speakers merely beat the air in speech and it falls flat on the audience. That means they make useless effort in speaking, does not have any effect on the audience sitting there. Next is to build castle in the air. To build castle in the air means to make visionary scheme. For example, many people who live in dreams build a castle in the air and do not succeed in life. To break the ice means to speak first after prolonged silence. For an example, in the meeting, Rajesh broke the ice and suggested the plan to solve the problem. To bring to book. To bring to book means to punish, to call to account. To bring to book, to punish. For example, the manager was brought to book for his neglect of duty. Next is to be at the bottom of. To be at the bottom of means to be mainly responsible for. For an example, it was found later that Shanu was at the bottom of the whole trouble. That means he was the main responsible person for the same. Next is to call spade a spade. To call spade a spade means to speak plainly. For an example, People often get angry when one calls a spade a spade. Then, to carry the day. To carry the day means to win a victory. For an example, after initial setback, India carried the day in the test match against Pakistan. To cut a sorry figure. To cut a sorry figure means to give a poor show. For an example, the speaker cut a sorry figure in the meeting. That means to give a poor show. Then the last is to cry over spilled milk. To cry over spilled milk means to repent. For an example, careless students often have to cry over spilled milk during the exams.